Alright, what's up everyone? So this is basically a breakdown of domain authority and how relevancy is important. So for most on-page SEO, when you optimize your website, like for me, need to sell my house ASAP, when you look up a relevancy score using something like Surfer SEO, you can see some websites have 50, some websites have 70. My website's currently 89. It actually used to be 97, so I need to find out why it's not 97 anymore. I like to have it above 90 personally, but as you can tell, nobody else is above 90. So I naturally ranked top 5 when I first ranked for this keyword just because of on-page relevancy. But you get stability and you get to stay at a high rank when you have domain authority. So what really justifies that? WeBuyHouses.com is domain rating 44, and that comes from high domain rating from the domains that are linking to you, as well as high URL rating for the individual page that links to you. And then how many backlinks are actually linking to you. Of course, if they're do follow, so if the link juice or the power of the URL or domain is actually transferring through that link, that's called do follow. You want a decent amount of percentage, at least 50% really. The amount of referring domains is 1,100 individual businesses, individual domains, not people, but actual domains and websites with credibility and authority. 1,000 of them are linking to WeBuyHouses.com. We Buy Ugly Houses is domain rating 41, 30,000 backlinks, 1,500 referring domains. It's a lot of referring domains. And then you probably know Gerald Nordine, 43 domain rating, 2,900 backlinks, and 300 referring domains. So again, around that 57% ratio, 50% ratio, 50% ratio. It's a reoccurring theme for a reason to have a 50% ratio for do follow and to have over 3,000 backlinks, at least 200 referring domains, generally speaking, usually over 300 referring domains over a period of time is a good thing. So if you look at mine, I currently have 36 because I just started this journey for links 2 months ago. These guys are literally years, if not a decade ahead of me for WeBuyHouses.com as an example. Very far ahead of me, but I'm already at 36, and that's what I'm kind of offering right now today over the next month is the ability for you as well to get a high domain rating. I've tested on my website, a friend's website in California as well. Another friend, I kind of gave him the secret sauce, and he did it in Louisville, Kentucky. He's at 36 now too. I don't want to share their websites for their own privacy, but here is my website for proof. I'm 36, 3,800 backlinks, and 420 referring domains. I do have an abnormally high, 77%, relatively high amount of do follows. I could use some more no follows just to have that even balance you see from everyone else. 57%, 50%, 50%. I should probably lower and have less juicy links, but I've been doing a lot of tests. So over time, I will pad this number with more no follow links. So as an example here, you want high domain rating. So look at mine, 90, 94, 91, 94, 71. And then We Buy Houses Connecticut, 88, 27, 7. That's pretty low for a domain rating. 15, 70. And then Ugly Houses is 5, 91, 69, 0. These are the top links. 10, 11, and then 32, 93. So as you see, those domain ratings, so how credible is the domain in general linking to your domain? They're like across the board because they have thousands of links, right? And then you look at mine and I have 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 70, then some 30s and 20s, but I have a lot of 90s, literally a lot of 90s on purpose. The purpose for that is to have a high URL rating, a high domain rating to increase my overall domain rating, so to speak, to hack the system. That's what we're able to do for your website over the course of a month is to hack the system and increase the domain rating. Now this guy right here has 0 domain rating, 0 backlinks, 0 referring domains. And if we are to actually Google him, specifically Sell My House Fast Florida, which is where he ranks, he's ranking number 99. He has on-page optimization, Sell My House Fast Fort Lauderdale. He should actually be ranking higher, right? Because he's actually optimizing. But he's not ranking higher because he has 0 links. He has 0 credibility, 0 referring businesses or authority in the space. If you look at actual page 1 here, we see House Heroes' domain authority. This is using a Moz metric, slightly different than the number that you see here. As you see, mine is 36 here. And if you look at me, number 2, I'm 14 for Moz, because Moz tracks the links a little bit slower. See, it says 85 links, and over here it says 3,800. So Moz is really slow. It doesn't crawl everything. So Moz, with a grain of salt, I really prefer to use the Ahref domain rating instead, because it just crawls the links much faster and they show up faster, just like they would for Google as soon as they index on Google. Now we have bigger equity, domain authority 26, 30, 15, 40, 10. This one person has 1. So maybe they're brand new and maybe Google will kick them off. Or maybe they have high domain rating on Ahrefs and it just hasn't shown up on Moz yet, because Moz is not Google. It's a third-party thing, just like Ahrefs, but Ahrefs is faster. So as you can see, everyone is above 10, everyone's above 15, everyone in the top 3 is basically above 20, except for me. Basically, it says I'm 14, but as you know, I'm technically 36 on Ahrefs, so I am actually higher. I'm in the 20s or 30s, just like these people. That's why I'm in the same group as them. Now, when you actually see on-page optimization versus backlinks, what's the difference? On-page optimization, when you first do it, as I did here in January, I just had a mediocre page. Mediocre is 70 out of 100. Great is over 90 out of 100. And when you look here, I had 70 out of 100, maybe 80. And then I re-indexed the website after I upgraded and had really good on-page SEO and went from 30 instantly overnight to 14, because that's what on-page SEO can do. You could see huge spikes when you're extremely relevant with relative matches, semantic matches, similar phrases, relative phrases. You're very relevant to what people are searching for and different variations of what is searched. But as you see, I kind of just moved around. And then when we get into April, which is when I really started to do backlinks, that's when you saw more stability. I put in some backlinks in March, just a couple, not too many. But you see real stability in April. And then after April, after the 30 days that we're talking about that takes to do this technique for domain rating, domain authority, I'm in 7 and 8, and then I start to go to 6 and then 5. And then I'm currently at 3, 4, and then I show up on Google between 2 and 3. Generally speaking, depends if you search locally in Fort Lauderdale from a local GPS, or if you're searching from a different state, there's those variations to take into effect. So another example, need to sell my house fast. If you search this in quotes, it's scary how competitive this term is. It's really similar to need to sell my house ASAP, but ASAP has less exact matches. So an exact match is searched in quotes. 680,000 people have that exact phrase on their website. If I do ASAP, it's like 100 times less. 4,000 people. So it's less competitive, but as you see, number 1, number 2, when you search in quotes, how relevant am I? When you search in quotes, that shows relevancy. I'm literally number 1, number 2. Now, technically, I'm for ASAP, I'm not number 1 yet. I keep fluctuating, but I'm beating out Realtor and Zillow, which have domain authority of 90. So 90, 90, and 70. That's who I'm playing with right now, because I have good on-page SEO and solid backlinks. And backlinks is what we're talking about today. So again, in January, February, that's when I had the on-page SEO. You don't really see too much movement because I didn't really try to rank for that. I ranked for ASAP, not fast. So you see my rank is 29, 30, and then it drops off. And then I get backlinks, and I include this exact match phrase in a couple of my backlinks, just a couple. And as I increase my domain authority and I include those exact match keywords in my backlink anchor text, all of a sudden I go from 94 to 40, from 40 to 30, from 30 to 20. And then as you see, see how it moves around. And as soon as I start the backlink journey, it just stabilizes and moves up. That's the theme I'm talking about right now. Not only are you going to stabilize your position wherever you are, you're also going to move up. So Sell My House Fast Houston is a really good and interesting example. I've never ever tried to rank for this page. I just had a city page because I made like 100 with my virtual assistants. So as you see in February, I jump up from 67 to 40 just from that on-page optimization boost. Instantly jumped up. It kind of stayed around 40s. Didn't really do much because I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't trying to optimize it anymore. I couldn't. And I wasn't sending links because I didn't really know too much about links. And then in April, I started to send links. And then right here, magically, Google re-indexed my website, saw all of the links, and pushed me up from 43 to 25. And as you see right now, it's in the 20s. There are 2 dips that happened. It's called the algorithm of Google. And after that algorithm readjusted, now I am 18. So basically page 2. Again, I'm not trying to rank for Houston. It's just because my domain authority, my domain rating trickles down to the Houston page. So it's a really interesting page to look at because you see these huge jumps basically just because of my domain authority and my domain rating, because no links locally specifically for this keyword are going to this page because I didn't try. And then when you see Milwaukee, again, always a recurring theme, 24. Mine's 14, but it's actually 36 on Ahrefs. 25, 47 domain authority. 47 is insane for We Buy Ugly Houses there. 57 for Homelight. Really high domain authority on Milwaukee to be on the top 5, right? I just showed you the proof. So you need domain authority to be on top 5. If you want to rank high, you want to actually get clicks which convert into leads, you need domain authority. Another really good example is that Milwaukee I just showed you here. It was a really interesting battle. I never looked at it, but looking back in hindsight, it's really interesting. So I just had that mediocre 70 out of 100 page. I upgraded it, reoccurring theme that we talk about here, go from 20s to 10. So I went to page 1 just from On-Page SEO. So that's good. Really good On-Page SEO can do cool stuff. And then I moved up to, top 5 positions, but I couldn't break the top 5. Why? Well, if we go back and we look at the domain authority, look at the power and the links and the relevancy of those links. So as soon as I start in April getting more relevant links and domain authority, what happens? I, drop from 5 to 10. And then as soon as I get those links, boom, number 6, number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2. And now I actually fight between number 1 and sometimes number 3, but mostly it's number 1 and number 2 right now. And that's all because of domain authority. And of course, we're looking at this one, domain authority and some local links to really push me from like 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. That's when you need to add more local links. And I'm actually getting like really good leads because it looks like I'm barely getting any clicks. This is just for one keyword, by the way. There's like 30 or 50 different keywords. But I'm actually getting a decent amount of leads from Milwaukee right now. And that's just one page. The good thing with domain authority is if you have 5, 10, 100 city pages, all of your website benefits from domain authority. Come up here to Sell My House Fast Las Vegas. That's one that I only tried to optimize for after I saw it ranking. So let's go ahead and show you again the domain authority. 13, 47, 14, 20, 18. So as you can see, you don't need as much domain authority to rank in Las Vegas. So that's good. It's a good little thing to know. And I never had a city page until March when it indexed. And because that's past February when I did the upgrade, I already had the upgraded on-page SEO. But as you see, it really didn't do much. But in April, again, reoccurring theme here, when I inserted domain authority links to the homepage, so to increase my domain authority via Moz metric or Ahrefs domain rating metric, where are we at? Right here. Milwaukee, we're right here, almost done here. So in Vegas, I didn't even try to really optimize this. And then with those links, it just went from 29 in the 20s, page 2, page 3, and it just crawled up to 10, which is position 1. And then with just links. And then it dipped down a little bit. And then as it was dipping down, I pushed more local relevant links. And then guess what? 7, 5, 4, 3. And now I'm ranked number 3 in Vegas because I'm actually pushing more links. So I have that domain authority that really pushed me from 30s to 10s. And then I used more local links and I tried to actually rank the page because I saw it was ranking higher. And as soon as it hits 10, I give it more effort. And then now it's top 3. It's pretty incredible what links can do. Again, this is on-page SEO. It only gets you so far. Number 27, it only gets you so far. It's needed because Google's a librarian and your website's a book, and Google needs to find out what your book is about. So you need to actually be relevant for on-page SEO. But you're never going to be in the top 3 unless you have that domain authority and local relevant links. So let me go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, April, we already talked about that, is when I started links. And you can see right here, the pink 1,129 keywords in Google Search Console. So my visibility score, 1,100 keywords. And then a month later, so it would be May. So right here, 2,100. So an extra 1,000 keywords. And then a month later, 3,000. So I doubled, tripled the amount of keywords showing up in Google Search Console just from backlinks. I literally tripled the amount of keywords that are visible in the eyes of Google because Google trusts me more. There's more authority. There's more respect there because the amount of links and high quality links going to my website. Another interesting thing, just to kind of hit the nail really on the head, is We Buy Ugly Houses. I did get a cease and desist order like a couple months back, and I removed, as maybe you could see it here. Now it's only June, but I tanked. I went from like number 3. Like they were probably a little scared and intimidated. That's why they sent the cease and desist. So I took every instance of ugly off of my website, completely removed it because I just didn't want the drama. And they do technically have a copyrighted trademark, so no problem. I just removed it from my website. But can you rank for a term, We Buy Ugly Houses Florida, without having the word ugly on your website? Well, We Buy Ugly Houses is relevant to We Buy Houses, and that relevancy or similarity is good enough for on-page SEO. And if you were to push an exact match phrase keyword, so if you literally, the anchor text of your link, like I could click this link right now, if the anchor text is literally this, the exact keyword you want to rank for, you could shoot up. So I'm number 83, and then I tested this other technique. This is not included in the domain rating. I just want to show you the power of links. So there's on-page SEO and there's links, right? Look at this jump. 87, next day, 24. Literally jumped to page 2 overnight just because of backlinks. 88, 21. That is a huge jump. And again, I don't have the word ugly on my website anywhere, not even in the images, nowhere. But I jumped from 94 to 18. You can see the more incredible ones, which I'm really in disbelief of, is starting at 10, and I'm number 4 currently in Miami for We Buy Ugly Houses Miami, number 5 in Pittsburgh, number 6 in Tucson, number 7 in Oklahoma, number 8 in Milwaukee, number 9 in Denver. I'm on page 1. 210 search volume. I'm on page 1 for a handful of these keywords. Why? Because of this one page. There's about 20 links on here, and there's a lot of links being pushed to this page that are high relevance, high authority. And guess what? That authority and that domain rating of all of those domains and all of those individual URLs add up. All that power passes down to this page. And then you click this link, and it takes you to my Miami page. And even though it says We Buy Houses Miami, Florida, what Google is reading is saying, well, this highly reputable page, We Buy Ugly Houses Pittsburgh, is the anchor text, and it's an exact match, and it's going to this page. So that's what it's probably about, even though it says We Buy Houses Pittsburgh. So legally, in the eyes of the law, my website does not say ugly. And if there's ever a problem with this link, I could always just delete this page because I have the power to do that. But it's not attached to my name in any way whatsoever. That's the power of links, to really open Pandora's box right there. If I wanted to rank for anyone's brand name or anything, I could actually do that somewhat covertly if I ever wanted to. Now, that's almost kind of the dark side of links too, but that's kind of the brilliant side, is it brings that flatline stability that you see on these ranking charts. I'm looking at the orange line, of course. And right here, you see that chaos, the jagged up and down and up and down, and the emotional stress. And then you see the links added, and they just stabilize. So your positions will stabilize if they're moving around, or they'll just shoot up because of that domain authority. So again, they'll shoot up and they'll stabilize. That is the power of domain rating. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching.